wishers, relatives, onlookers, Facebook, wherever you are, Dr. Haynes, Justin Haynes, and this is your health new. I have to let you and something new. It made me realize I am human. And I said that because for a very doing all of my travels, seeing all sorts of God afflicted and everything. 8 out of 10 persons had cancer. Almost 8 out of 10. If I screen 10, 8 of them were cancerous. And out of that 10, 8 of them had coronavirus or other viruses and other bacteria, even pneumonia, bronchitis, tuberculosis. And it alarmed me because I had not seen so much cancer at once in so little time. This is in Jamaica, this is in New York. I mean, we see it in Guyana, we do see it in Guyana, but not as startling as we saw in Jamaica and New York. What is really happening, I don't know. But we're not talking about stage 1 cancer, we're talking about stage 3, stage 4. And these people don't even know some of them. Some are aware, some have started chemotherapy, some are just lost because they don't understand how could they be afflicted so quickly. And some of the same people who would have been diagnosed with the cancers also have the viruses and the pneumonia and the bronchitis. To me, that's really unusual because I've not seen those numbers having the same conditions like that, one after the other. Not cancer in the same places, but cancer in the body system. Some in the liver, some in the gallbladder, some in the colon, lung, pancreas, uterus, prostate. And these same people have bronchitis, pneumonia, coronavirus. And here's the other thing. Many of those persons, most of them actually, had been vaccinated for coronavirus. No, I'm not saying that the coronavirus vaccine would have caused it. I'm not saying that. But I'm very suspicious as to why these people who have been vaccinated continue to have the coronavirus, are suffering with conditions that they don't know that they have. And it continues. It didn't stop there, it continues. Now I came down with whatever it was, and I know it's some viruses and some bacteria because I was really exposed. It tells me that you cannot take anyone for granted. Some of these people look so healthy, but yet still they're contaminated. They look healthy, they walk like nothing is wrong with them, but they know that they've been diagnosed with cancer. I am concerned because that small number, I know in the midst of the population, there are many, many more. So what is happening is yet to be discovered. Why? But as I treated the persons, as we started the protocols, many of them would have had concerns about the dietary changes. Why so rigid? Why do they have to go through all of these restrictions? We are actually having them refrain from eating things that they're accustomed to eating, that they love. And all I could say to them is, you cannot continue doing the same thing that got you sick and expect to get better. And repeat it. You cannot continue doing the same thing that got you sick and expect to get better. It doesn't work. And if you want to get better, you've got to make changes. I'm saying that to you. All of you who are the sound of my voice, I'm repeating the same thing. You cannot continue doing the same thing that got you sick and expect to get better. It's never going to work. So if you're one of those at the sound of my voice, and you can, if you're on YouTube or on whichever program you're on, Facebook, if you like what we do here on Thursdays, just hit the like button and subscribe so that you can continue.
Hello. Oh wow. Hello. Hello.
Okay, Dr. Richard, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Uh, we had started earlier. I want to apologize to the audience for the interruption, but we started earlier and then we got disconnected. I guess because you were trying to get in.
Oh man.
Anyhow, it's
Disconnected it?
okay. Welcome to the
Oh,
program once again.
thank you. Not good.
I was just reviewing or going over my
Oh,
trips to New York and Jamaica, and I mentioned the fact that I picked up a virus of some sort. And my findings over in New York and Jamaica were alarming because many of the persons who were screened knew they had cancer or didn't know they had cancer.
mm,
And many of them were, about 8 out of 10, were afflicted with different stages of cancer. Some
wow.
were already being treated and didn't know how they got it. But the alarming thing was that they all had similar viruses and bacteria in the system. They had coronavirus, they had pneumonia, some had bronchitis,
Mm.
uh, some had other infections, and almost all of them were vaccinated for coronavirus.
All of them were vaccinated for corona?
Almost all of them.
Almost
Yeah.
all. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make any claims or linkage of any sorts,
Uh,
but
well,
it was
when
it was very strange that those were the findings.
wow.
But I mentioned the fact that we had started to talk about cancers
Hmm.
some time ago this year,
Yeah.
and maybe we need to spend more time talking about it because as I said, the last things I said today were that you cannot continue doing the same things that got you sick and expect to get better.
Well, yeah. And I don't know. I see a pattern with things sometimes. Um, the people who are, it's like they're in it's a cyclic sort of thing happening. Some people, you let them know that what's going on with their systems, and the initial response is alarming and sometimes downright fear when they see exactly what's in their system, especially when cancer cells and things like that are related to them. That some people are very, very afraid when they hear things like that. But then I think the initial fear, and maybe the initial moments, maybe it could be a month or two or three or four of really putting in their minds that these things are really, really happening in their bodies. And the initial advice that they get, they follow it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then somehow, not everybody, but a few, and that few is sometimes the few, the ones that fall in that category are the ones that really, really, really need to take, you know, uh, advice and really follow through with the protocol. But then they go back eating the same things again. You know,
That
I've
is the
had,
biggest
uh,
that is the biggest challenge that we have, and it continues to
yeah,
be a challenge. And
it's
I
the
don't
thing.
I don't understand the mindset of those who are sick. Why are they not understanding that for the most part, it's their lifestyles that got them sick?
Yeah.
The foods that they eat, the chemicals in the foods, the mercury and the lead in the flesh foods that they eat, and maybe even the beverages that they drink.
Hmm.
It's the contaminants are there. We see contaminants in the vegetables on the marketplace. We find it in patients tremendously, and it seems like it's just getting worse. Today alone, I found in almost everyone. I was trying to find someone who didn't have any uh, any of those dangerous chemicals. I had a
Hmm.
hard time finding one person. Seems like they all had these dangerous chemicals in them. As a matter of fact, two of the persons that I found almost had um, poison, lead poison, and mercury poison.
Toxic, that toxic.
Yes, yeah, two of them. And one person, uh, our memory is really gone, really, really, really bad. I sat right here and I witnessed it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I examined a part of her hands for something that she suspected was wrong, and I relayed to her what my suspicions are. And not even 1 minute later, she put her hands back out and asked
Mm.
me to look at it.
You forgot?
Yeah, and I just did. She said, "You did?" I said, "Yes, I did. I just looked at it." Her daughter was right here. And
Mm.
daughter turned and said, "Mommy, yes, he did."
Yeah, severe neurological problem.
The mercury level was so high, the
Mm.
lead was so high, brain.
Mm.
It is it is all making sense. The findings and the conditions, it's all making sense that these findings are indeed causes of their conditions. Heavy lead, heavy mercury, heavy mycotoxin coming from foods that they're consuming.
Well, I don't want to be controversial or anything like that, but I I read and I heard there is one of those chemicals that you just mentioned. They use it in the atmosphere to sort of generate certain climate conditions. I'm just wondering whether or not, because it's really, I mean, for a whole host of people to be having that in their system, I mean, it would make it one have to believe that it's got to be in the air somehow.
I
I'm just throwing it out there because that's something that was mentioned very recently, as a matter of fact, with all this turmoil that's happening all over the place, with these storms and different things that I think they said mercury is used. They pump it in the atmosphere, certain
I
chemicals and other
I am
other
wondering,
metals.
I am wondering about something else that just came to mind. You know the wars that they're having, all the bombs and everything that are being dropped all over?
Hmm.
Where does all of that stuff go? In the air, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they haven't
And
developed
that air is not constant. That air moves.
right from one part of the earth to the next. Hmm.
So is
Sure
it
does.
possible? Is it possible to think that some of that environmental waste chemical maybe is affecting people already in other places?
Hmm.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, these are these are things that a lot of people don't want to touch it, and I can understand why. But it's quite evident. I mean, if you're seeing so much heavy metal contaminants and a whole lot of other stuff in people, somehow they're inhaling it.
Yeah,
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 they're inhaling it, and I've seen some of that too today. Uh, but some people blame fish because they love fish, and fish and mercury is always that's the whole thing, right? And a lot of mercury in fish and things like that. But then you have lead, you have cadmium, you have
yeah.
all the heavy metals,
Lots of cadmium.
and I ask people sometimes when I see the levels, sometimes close to 0.000. Yeah, I ask them
That's
to do
big.
it.
That's fatal. Yeah.
Yeah, I ask them if they're into mining. You're mining gold, or what are you mining? But some people take it serious. Like I don't. Somebody told me today that all I can give account for that, because she was done, is that we sit in the on the we have a store on the road with a whole lot of heavy traffic, you know, and then
Mhm.
they're wondering whether or not that is coming from that.
The lead may be a factor coming from that.
Yeah, and that's what they know from the gas. But I don't know. Did the Guyana rule? I mean, I know most countries don't have leaded gas anymore.
I think in Ghana they have lead.
Oh,
There
they
is
do?
lead gas. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that is
Hmm.
definitely a problem. Hmm.
But it raised a lot of concerns in me because if it's affecting those people, it's got to be affecting us too.
Yeah, everybody who breathes it,
Yeah.
everybody who inhale it, and while we have all the anatomical structures are similar or the same basically, but I say similar because it's a genetic component to it that makes it different. The mechanisms in every one of us are different. Some people cannot handle, some people can, and some people are tolerant, some people are very intolerant, you
Hmm.
know. So what we're looking at is like we all in a petri dish given the same dosages of things, and different things are manifested in our bodies because we're genetically different, you know. But it's the same, I would say the same antigen, the same thing that's hurting you. When you're putting out all those heavy metals in the environment and you're watching to see what manifests itself in different
Yeah.
people, you know. And that goes to another. These are all, they refer to them as conspiracy theories, but they have done studies on different races to see what chemicals that particular race have, that would affect them. What chemicals would affect that particular. I hate to say it, but it's like an animal species, you know, of people. You know,
Hmm.
uh, different, different, genetic variations of individuals. Different things affect them differently. You know, so I think we are all in a they call it in microbiology, call it a petri dish, where, as you know, where everybody, we are all being cultured with different things, with with heavy metals and all different things, viruses and bacterias, and then in the end, you're seeing who come with what. you know, some things that you might get that not have caused you any harm will cause severe harm in other people. You know,
I'm wondering if there's some type of unknown experimentation that's occurring.
oh, there is something going on. There's something going on.
But
Um,
I think one of the things that I need to examine is the close proximity of the places I go to the places like Ukraine and Russia.
mhm.
To see maybe the other areas where the wars are occurring. To see how the wind factor could play a role in bringing about uh, maybe the chemical residuals that are floating around in the air
Yeah, then
that might be affecting the people.
yeah, if they're in the air, I mean, they don't float a whole lot along. They fall in the waters,
Yeah.
you know. And some things, I remember, in the 70s, 80s, they're done with the soldiers Agent Orange.
Yeah.
That causes severe damage
Hmm.
to a lot of people in Vietnam and Southeast Asia and things like that. Yeah, and By the way, that chemical has been used today still.
Agent Orange.
Yeah, they got it. How could you use something that's caused so much trauma in a population? What you do is just change the name of it,
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah. But you know, when you think of it, in an environment of war, it is so easy to introduce those dangerous chemicals in the process, in the territory, in the midst of the war, because you know it's a war and it's devastation. And if it is indeed, which we know that these chemicals will travel airborne,
Mhm.
it's so easy to do it,
Yeah,
you know?
but the thing is, I mean, it's common sense. I mean, you're still hurting yourself or your family.
Yeah,
All those who are, unless people have and there's some really sick people, they don't care. They
yeah,
don't care. But it's the air, the water, the food source. All three of those things are being contaminated right now. And if
yeah.
you talk
Because
to,
if it's in the air, it will get into the food source.
yeah, yeah, and then don't even don't even go to the fertilizers. The Roundup,
Oh yeah,
Agent Orange Roundup. If you look, you can see a very similar. that's 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 the same component.
yeah.
Roundup. So all that's in your food. We're eating all those things, and we imbibing them, and we're wondering, what's happening, but it's right before our eyes, in plain view. And there are
So
people amongst us who really don't care there, but
the question is, we may not be able to change that, but what do we do
oh,
to protect ourselves and to protect each other? Where do we
right.
begin?
Hmm.
Where do we begin? And for those who are watching, we're on Facebook and we're on YouTube, so you can tune in and you can like or dislike and share with your friends and your relatives so that they can tune in and maybe learn a lot of things that they need to learn about really what is happening to their lives.
Hmm.
Because we speak real here. We don't cut corners and try to blame anyone or so, but we're here to try to make a difference with the suffering of the humankind. Because when I look on the faces of those people who were inflicted with those diseases, all I saw was like people who were distraught and just uh, like lost. They've got children, they've got spouses, they've got siblings, and they're wondering what's going to happen.
Hmm.
Some of these are breadwinners; they're the ones that provide. What are they going to do? Because like the question is asked, what are we going to eat? And they say, what are we going to do? Well, we need to begin with the food. If we can somehow, if you plant in the open, even if you plant yourself and it's in the open, it's out there in the same atmosphere. You may not use the chemicals on the plants, on the foods, but what's in the environment is also going to affect you at some point if it's in the air, if it's airborne.
Yeah.
So, I am thinking that it is important that we spend some time on cleansing.
Hmm. Yeah. You got to detox, and that's very, very important. Very, very important subject matter, because I mean, just physically, if you live in your house and you go to sleep and you get up, and the next day you see a whole lot of dust all over your porch and everything else, what do? You get a hose and you spray it down, right?
Or you got to vacuum and clean it up. First, you want to
Yeah,
get a you first want to get a vacuum if you have one,
you
and
clean it
suck
up,
up
you
all
pull it
that
up.
dust, and then you wipe it down, clean it up. You
Yeah.
know,
But the thing is, and it makes sense because you take a hose and you spray it, all that thing is run off, right? It's
yeah,
gonna go in your soil, you have your garden and everything else. So
exactly.
you're getting it. If you didn't get it initially when it comes, you can get it another day. Second time, you give it another opportunity to receive it.
You, as we talking, I'm thinking, and we do a procedure here that's called colonics or colon therapy,
Hmm.
where where you would insert a device and use liquids to extract out of the body system what is in there that needs to come out.
Hmm.
Like a vacuum, but it actually comes out. Your body actually purges through the colon until we get to the cecum, and the cecum empties, and then you see all the stuff that keeps coming out of there. You
Right.
can actually see it visual. You know,
Mm.
I am thinking that we need to reintroduce more of that because it really cleans you out on the inside, and it's very gentle, but you feel the relief of the toxins when it happens. You feel it. The worms, you see them coming out if they're there living, the toxins, all the poop that's in there in the pockets of the colon, it all comes out and you're able to see it. And some of it you can't recognize because it's so black.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know. So
Wow.
the colonic is maybe something that we need to start doing again to actually start from the colon because we were taught in the colonic school that death begins in the colon.
Mm.
So we probably need to reintroduce more of those while we actually use other detoxifying formulas to break the toxins down from the blood cells and the
Mm.
organs and the other organs. We've seen a lot of liver problems.
Mm.
Gallbladder. The other thing that is very notable is that many persons were found to have consumed too much fat, too many oils, too many fried foods. So the pancreas is all messed up. Their blood sugar levels are high. Their
Mm.
their livers are congested. You're seeing it. You're actually seeing it when you screen. We've seen that. And again, it points to what people are eating.
Eating and I'm thinking when you said that begins in the colon, I'm thinking, well, maybe in the pot. It
Yeah,
starts. It
it
starts.
starts in the pot.
It starts in the pot because
Yeah,
if it's something that you shouldn't be consuming and you're cooking it, you know.
exactly,
But
exactly.
you brought to mind. I had a situation where I had to talk to somebody who was having problems, who had not, who at one point in time they told me they had not gone for 3 months to the rescue.
3 months.
Exactly. You hear you inquire? I did the same thing. 3 months, not 3 weeks. 3 months. I'm like, what? You know. And there are people who are having that problem. Some people think that it's normal to go every 2 weeks. No,
Every day.
you know, every day you should empty out.
If I don't go every day, I don't feel good.
So there are people who are not really feeling well and they're very sickly.
The sad
And
thing is that some doctors say it's okay.
uh,
You
mm-mm.
hear it. My doctor said it's okay. I don't have to go every day.
Do you eat every day? So
Well,
you pull
then
out
that's the
and eat up.
question I asked too. Do you consume foods every day? Even when I fast, I still go every day.
Yeah, I mean, your body's constantly cleaning, you know. Um, you know, you're breaking down something. If you're not eating, the body's using, fat, carbohydrates, using something. So it's always going to be waste. If it's not solid, it's going to be liquid, you know, or something. But we're not at that level yet. All that, in my head, I'm thinking about. I remember in the '70s, this man went around saying some silly things that he lives on the wind million. Remember that?
Yeah.
You know, if you're living on wind, then maybe there's nothing to consume to break down. The wind million, they found him after. I mean, it was a big thing. People were trying to do that. They're trying to see if they can live on wind. You know, live with just oxygen, H2O, and water. Follow the eternal combustion. And get it.
You can live on it, but not for forever.
Yeah. Yeah, but this guy was saying he did, not knowing that they found him getting up early in the morning, going to McDonald's. And they confronted him with the TV.
They traced them, tracked
Yeah.
them.
So there's a little fad and all this fads and all this stuff, we gotta be careful of, the win million. But God made us so we can consume good food, clean food, not, simple stuff, simple food, you know, uh, not a whole lot of different things.
I,
Why
I
not
think
make
I
it
think
simple?
I think what has happened to our society also is that we've introduced a lot of fast foods,
Mm-hmm.
foods that maybe would normally be a little healthier, but because it's processed more and it's
Mm-hmm.
fried and it's killed more and it's you know it's pumped up with maybe chemical hormones and all that.
Yeah.
There's more damage that's
Mm-hmm.
being done to people when they consume fast foods than they you can imagine. It tastes good, but
Mm-hmm.
some of it is very dangerous. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
people are consuming excessive amount of barbecue foods, and I have evidence that indicates that one leg of smoked barbecue chicken is equivalent to smoking 300 cigarettes.
Wow.
One leg,
My goodness.
one leg of smoked barbecue chicken is equivalent to smoking 300 cigarettes. So if you consume a leg of smoked barbecue chicken every day, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, look how much cigarettes you're smoking. Equivalent. Look at the cadmium level in you.
Yeah.
Look at the anti-cancer agents that you're introducing into your own body system.
A lot of carcinogens. But then they'll be the first one to tell you, I don't smoke. I don't
Right,
want to get cancer.
right. They're finding more and more people who are dying of lung cancer who
Oh
never
yeah.
smoked.
Oh yeah.
Never smoked. So if you never smoked in your own mind, where are you getting the smoke from in your lungs?
From the
Where are you
chicken.
getting the chemicals in your lungs?
From the pork. Pulled pork. So it's a lifestyle, right? And diet and lifestyle. And we really have to help people to understand that, man. It's a challenge.
I believe that we need to somehow connect with the scientists, which we have, and help her to formulate a product that can detoxify persons holistically, that's natural,
Mm.
that they can use maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks to flush their systems out of the chemicals that are being consumed on a daily basis or that they're exposed to on a daily basis. I think it's urgent. I think it's something that's urgent. And the other thing that is alarming is that I'm seeing like it's crazy. One person had 11 different parasites in them.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that also. You know, I'm seeing a whole lot of that also. And you know, it's a lot of missed messages that people are given. Um, they're told to get off of red meat, right? And then they said then it's a white meat. But then they give the approval to fish,
Yeah,
fish. So people go and they consume so much fish,
from one bad product to another worse product.
not knowing that the fish, if you look at those worms, it tell you that it causes cancer.
Yeah,
And I'm seeing in Guyanese, I'm seeing a lot of that.
yeah, because they eat a lot of tilapia and
Yeah.
hassa and all the fish that feed at the bottom. And
Hmm.
I am yet to see a fish without worm.
It doesn't exist. So, it's just re-educating, letting people know that, hey, it's fish is not it's not safe to eat either. But if I grow it myself, no,
Same thing.
same thing.
You have to feed it, or it has to feed itself.
They have worms. All flesh have worms. I don't care
Hmm.
from where. Because I'm seeing beef tapeworm a lot. Beef tapeworm.
Yeah.
People are amazed because, and we see it all. I can tell them what they've been consuming
Well,
based on the worms that I see.
once you screen them, you can tell. And once you
Yeah,
get right, once you see the worms, you can tell.
I could tell. I know the different. I know the pork worm. I know the beef worm, fish worm. We see it all the time. So it's a wormy land,
I
wormy
had one.
business.
I had one person today who uh, she acknowledged, and we talked about the dogs, and we talked about the tick,
That too.
and that they come with worms. And she said to me that well, you're right, because I remember when my dog pooped one day, and I went out there to clean it. The worms that she saw in there were living in the dog's poop, and she couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And people have so many dogs that they have around their homes, they have it in their homes.
Hmm.
They There's another factor that connects with dogs and cats with the mosquito.
Hmm.
The mosquito bites the animal and collects a larva, then he bites the human and deposits it in the human. How could they be so smart?
Yeah. That's that's what
And
happened.
that larva manifests in the human
Hmm.
and crawls and lives in the back of the eyes.
Hmm.
How can they be so smart?
Yeah. I mean,
So your neighbor might have a dog. You may not have a dog in your yard. That dog poops and the worms are living. They're going to crawl out of there and go somewhere. And then the mosquitoes around there will bite the dogs in your neighbor's yard. And they don't just live in the yard, they fly and they come in your house. And they deposit the larvae in you when they bite you, and you don't have a dog. So even your neighbor's dog is dangerous to you. And a mosquito around is also even more dangerous.
yeah.
People don't associate mosquitoes with that particular aspect, but they associate them with things like malaria, and
Yeah.
filaria. So but mosquitoes are more dangerous than just malaria and filaria.
Hmm.
They can deposit a larva in you that can cause you to be blind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You
You
got
know,
chikungunya and all these different things.
we're living in a world today that we are facing many challenges.
You're catching a mosquito there.
And I just saw a mosquito.
You
I
call it a
just saw
name.
I just called a mosquito and he showed up. He showed up.
he went and tell his friends, he talking about us. He talking
Yeah,
bad about
come
us.
let him see that we are real.
Let's get him, get him, get him.
So
Uh,
we're suggesting to people, and we're running out of time, that even though you may not be able to do anything about the environmental matter and our suspicions about the chemicals in the air, and you're breathing it and it's affecting the plants and all that, the safest thing that you can do is to detoxify your system on a regular basis. I say maybe once a week, at least once per week. You begin to detoxify your bodies, and then you work on your immune system. That way you could at least build a wall that can protect you from maybe all sorts of other things.
yeah, and get healthy blood,
Yeah.
healthy blood, just get rid of anything that's of a hindrance to your system, and then just, detox and generate healthy tissue and healthy blood and things like that. I mean, that's the thing. And then don't consume things are toxic. You know, we already told y'all, and we told everybody that these animal products and they're toxic. They're toxic. You know, don't consume them because they're toxic.
I'm yet to find anyone, and I'm putting the word out there again. And again, I say if you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can tune in or like, dislike, or like and send to your friends so they can tune in. I'm yet to find someone who can prove to me that you can get something that's good nutritionally out of consuming something that's dead. I'm yet to find someone who can find something that's credible and present it to me. It is difficult for me to see or to understand that you could consume or you can benefit from consuming something that is dead. You don't know how long it's been dead. And we know that decomposition begins at the time of death. So you don't know how much that product has been decomposed, but you're consuming it, you spice it up and make it taste good. And you're consuming it, thinking that you're going to benefit from it. And in those products goes many toxic materials. So if you know of anything good that can come out of it, I want to know.
That's a big challenge there. From a dead creature.
Yeah, dead creature. Dead fish, dead chicken.
I'm thinking.
Dead cow.
I'm seeing all the worms, all the microbacteria, everything in there. Just waiting to get into a different host.
Yeah.
They're waiting to get in your body.
Exactly. I spoke with someone just last week in New York, live in New York, who said in a group of us, amongst us, that he was so healthy when he was eating only vegetarian foods. And the moment he began to eat flesh foods, he started getting sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put your body through so much to break those things down that are dead. And it absorbs from it what's in it. I don't think people think that level, that you're absorbing the chemicals, the putrid matter, all of that into your bloodstream, and you expect to be healthy. I saw someone send me something about a flight. It came to me from someone. Someone was on a flight going somewhere, and someone pooped in the plane.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I
And
mean, in the bathroom in the plane.
no, in the plane.
You mean in the
In the
passenger
plane,
compartment?
someone pooped. Well, not they passed gas then.
Oh,
Not poop, they passed gas. Sorry.
it is a difference now.
Yeah, there's a difference. Someone passed gas, and the odor was so obnoxious that the people were complaining and asking them to stop. Please don't do it again. Whoever you are,
Oh
don't fart
boy,
again.
they probably would not.
Because the whole plane is stink.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So if that coming out of your belly is so obnoxious, what is happening to you? What is happening to your body system? If it stinks the whole plane, something is happening in there.
Was it a small plane or a big plane?
No, it was a big plane. Looked like it had three seats on each side.
Oh, an Airbus. Oh my goodness. He busted the air, man. Oh.
They were begging
I
the
would have get the
person,
captain.
please keep telling you, don't let
Turn
it
this
out.
plane around.
I mean, I fly a lot, and I don't want to experience that.
No, and
I
I
don't
don't want
think I
to
can hold my breath for that long.
be. You be sitting next to that person, you get in trouble.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to imagine that.
Oh boy.
No.
They need to put him in. I mean, that's a big plane. Get a bathroom set aside for him. He can go sit there.
I
Something is
think
in there.
I think someone needs to invent. And my mind is an invented mind. Someone needs to invent a system that in your seat there's a vacuum. That when you pass gas, it sucks that air and takes it outside somewhere.
Yeah, there is a. I think I was reading something somewhere that there's a seat that is made. I forget. I don't know if it's calcium carbon. Something is inside that thing. That when you pass gas,
It absorbs it.
yeah,
Maybe
mhm,
it's charcoal or something.
something like that.
Maybe they need to put
So
them in the seats
yeah,
so that if you pass, doesn't matter if it's obnoxious or not, it will absorb the scent and save all the passengers from inhaling it.
they should have. They have. I know the planes. Some of the planes have like some aerosol um that dispense. I
Yeah, but
remember in the
then but then, Dr. Richard, you bring more chemicals again.
yeah, but you breathe. Listen, when you're in an airplane, you don't know what you're breathing. All
I
that air
agree.
is
Yeah, I
recycled,
agree.
and you
I
can't get rid
agree.
of those microorganisms, those viruses. That's why most people, when they go on a plane, most times they come all sick. There's
Yeah,
always
and,
something one or
and
two persons are sick in there.
you're talking about something that is interesting because I found that whenever I went to the bathroom in the plane, I would come out sneezing and then my eyes begin to run water.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the most part, it happens indeed.
because the ventilation system,
It's just
yeah, it's
circulating.
cyclic, and nothing is. I don't think anything from the plane is emitted in
Exhaust.
the maybe the exhaust, but nothing inside the compartment is emitted outside because it's closed. It's sealed.
Yeah.
It has to be that way, or the plane will be able to.
But
You know,
it's possible
it's
that
pressurized.
they may have exit points where only things go out but don't come in.
I don't know. That's why like in those most planes, even the bathroom, they can't. Nothing can go out except if it's from the engine. They what is emitted in the air. And they can
Yeah.
they have the ability to release fuel if, for example, in an emergency situation,
Right, right,
they
right.
can dump things. But I don't know. I don't know. I
I'm
don't know
thinking
too
that
much about that.
maybe it exits through in the glove the baggage compartment. Maybe it comes out from the plane and goes down in the baggage compartment. That's sealed also, but
Yeah,
at
that's,
least,
I don't
you
know.
know, but something, I gotta have something. Gotta be something because if that guy travels on every plane and poops like that,
Well, they might give him. That the astronauts have a special suit, right?
yeah,
That when
I
they
know.
go, they can go to the bathroom in that suit.
Yeah.
So that dude can use.
You can order a suit for each house, but then you know who he is. You give him away.
But I don't know.
But
Even that's the.
getting
Huh?
back, and I know we are pretty much out of time. I didn't see my operator didn't send me any timers yet, but I'm thinking that we really need to work on we really need to work on getting our scientists that's available to us through our assistants come up with a detox formula that anyone can take that will assist with removal of the chemical components that may be contributing to these cancers that we're seeing. Because it's too much. It really, I think this trip took a toll on me mentally because I felt so sad. Every one after the other, cancer, cancer, cancer. And I couldn't really understand it. I would lay down at night to sleep. Sometimes I work into the night,
Mm.
and I'm laying there trying to unload, and everyone I'm seeing is cancer, cancer, cancer. You know, and some of these people, like I said, don't even know they have it. They're feeling that there's something wrong,
Yeah.
and they would go and they would be looked at, and they can't find what it is, and then we screen them and we see it, and then you don't want to tell them because it's pretty bad. Like
Wow.
I've seen cancer at for instance, in the colon and the prostate and the liver and the spleen,
Oh boy.
and that's all in one person.
Mm.
And they know they're losing weight and they're wondering why, and nobody's saying anything.
Well, it's strange that and I've seen that they go to get a workup, analysis, totally check everything, and then they still don't come up with anything.
But one thing that like is common that they said, some of them, is that the doctors took blood work or they took a biopsy and they're waiting on results.
Oh, the waiting.
Yeah, they're waiting on results, but there was no decision or conclusion that was made, which is
Mm.
understood because they don't know.
Mm.
You see, so the good thing that we have going for us is that we have a device that can actually give you that information immediately.
Mm.
And I had to clarify some data this morning with a patient who we saw. One of our doctors saw this patient, and uh, she actually did not know or did not understand the diagnosis
Mm.
until she went to the emergency room, and they found that after screening her, that she did have colon cancer, but the mass was stuck between the large and small intestine,
What?
and it was in a dangerous spot. So she
Watching.
called and wondered how come it wasn't seen, but it was seen, that it was
Mm.
there, except that it didn't. She didn't understand the diagnosis. So I had to explain it to her and show her where it wasn't just there; it was in the liver and it was in the other parts of the body. So this, when I looked, of course, when I looked at the chart, the person had weighed under 100 pounds and they were
Whoa.
losing weight.
Mm.
Yeah, but the cancer was in more places than two. So that person's at stage 4. and don't even know it.
Metastatic.
Yeah, metastatic. Yeah.
Wow.
And that is local. That is not overseas. That's local here in Guyana. We don't have to wait for a biopsy to know that the cancer is there, the malignancy is there. We know, we see it. But they don't understand the term malignant. She didn't understand that term. Yeah. So I think we need to also, which sometimes you don't want to do it, but you have to do it. We have to spell it out to them. Let them know that this is not, the word is not just a word. The word says X, and this is what it means. So it was there on the printout. It was there in more than one place, and she got confirmation just this weekend gone. So now she understands. Yeah. So the cancer situation is all over, Dr. Richard. And I feel kind of sad because you're seeing it in more and more people, younger and younger. Younger and younger. There's no, like I said in the past, we used to see cancer in people that are elderly and all that, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to do something about, and we must also state, I must also state that cancer is toxicity. It's toxic. And if you can remove toxicity as frequent as you can, it's going to increase your chances of not having cancer, not becoming a victim, because you're actually removing the toxic waste as it accumulates.
True.
So I think that I'm going to make a call tonight to our scientists and put her on notice that we need to get formulations of a variety of components to put together a product that can at least fight and ward off toxicity. What do you think?
Yeah. Total body detox. And if you have an issue with your pancreas, you get pancreatic detox. Liver detox, we already have that. Colon detox.
Well, I'm thinking that she can put the components in one
All together.
One formulation. That way, when you take it, it will address the different areas. So I'm thinking, and then I'll formulate I've already spoken with her about a parasite cleanse that can address the variety of parasites, because not all parasite cleanses work for all parasites. So I'm working with her now on putting together a parasite cleanse that addresses almost all of them once. It's a hell of a task. If you really care, it's not easy. Not easy. So
detox.
The saying is true that we dig our graves with our teeth and we eat ourselves into our graves. It's very true.
Yeah. And people want to be well, man. There's a way. There's a way to take care of your body. We only have one body.
Yeah. One body system that when it's done, it's done. We have to care it. If we care, we have to care it more. And if we're serious, then we have to look at our diets and make a decision as to what is best for us and leave alone what is not best. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just told that we have 5 minutes more.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are watching, you can hit the like button and you can share it with your friends and relatives, acquaintances. I don't mind. I don't mind you sharing it with your doctor because maybe your doctor needs to also make a contribution here or maybe learn something from here. Because not all doctors focus on what we talk about. So we're here and we're doing what we're doing because we genuinely care about people. And if you have a concern and you're not sure that that you're comfortable with what is happening with your body, then you can call us and maybe send us a message, email us, or send us something online. Make an appointment, get yourself looked at. Get yourself looked at because you don't want to be surprised. You
Yeah.
don't want to have a you don't want to have one day that you you wake up and there's something happening that you thought was okay and it's not.
Yeah. It takes a commitment to be uh, wanting to, find things out first before they happen. Or a lot of people wait. They wait until something happens that they can't put a band-aid on and then they come.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
saw that a couple of times today.
Yeah.
And we see more men now also because I think the women are getting on the man's case. If you get sick, I have to carry you. I have to care for you
Yeah.
because you don't want to go to the doctor yourself. So we see more men now, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. And it's beginning of a year, a new year. So, the best thing to do, and I would recommend is for you to, even if you don't, you're feeling okay, it's good to check and see exactly
Hmm.
where your body systems are because these things, they happen. They don't happen all of a sudden. You know,
No,
it takes a gradual progression. And you might be feeling fine, but then you don't know what's going on inside of you. You
yeah,
know, and it's good to
yeah,
get a heads up as to where what direction you're going. I always show people the pathway, especially with their body system, where they're heading as far as the major thing that people are concerned about is cancer. You know, so I tell people, look, you're having problems with your stomach. Okay, there is this pathology you already have. This one you already have. This one. When you get to this one here, this is the last pathology
mm,
before
yeah,
you get to gastric carcinoma.
yeah.
Okay. And right now and I show them this is the way this is the pathway that you're heading right now. And you can do
Begins with H.
something.
pylori.
Yeah, you can turn it around. And Guyana has a lot of H. pylori.
Yeah,
A
indeed.
lot. A lot. I mean, West Indians, man, it has to do with the fish and the diet.
Oh yeah,
Um, it has to do with the meat, the consumption of we heavy on the meat.
yeah. We have it on the flesh because we've been told so long that it's important to eat it.
Yeah.
You know, and then there are many persons who consume the bouillon cubes,
All the
and those
yeah,
cubes are
that too.
laden with MSG,
Yeah, all those
monosodium
chemicals.
glutamate, which is
Mhm.
a very dangerous chemical. Monosodium glutamate is one that contributes and is banned in some countries. You can't have it in there.
Mhm.
They would actually arrest you if you sell it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I was listening to the new president, Trump, and he was making was talking to he's speaking to I think some leaders in Europe and things like that, and he was talking about fair trade. You want to have fair trade. But there are products that we are consuming here in America that are banned in Europe.
Indeed.
That's the reason
Yeah.
why a lot of times they're not taking our products.
The ingredients, some of the ingredients are banned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean that's a big statement right there. I mean a big red flag. You know, you're not consuming some of the American products or most of them because they're using pesticides, they're using hormones,
Mhm.
they're using all sorts of chemicals in the food. That's the reason why countries in Europe, many places, not every place, but most places, the health of these people are much better than ours.
Yeah.
And, they're more healthier because they're not consuming all these chemicals. And that's what Mr. Trump said from his own lips. Yeah, I can understand, he said, because, a lot of these things that we're using here, they're banned in Europe. And that's the reason why he said maybe Bobby Kennedy has something. There's something about what he's doing because he wants to get rid of all those pharmaceuticals
He
in
wants
the
to
food
reform the health
industry.
system, and a
Yeah,
lot of people don't like him or what he's saying, but he has very strong points.
yeah. Yeah, and it's all, like you said, a lot of people don't want to believe that, but the money in health, in medicine, is with managing chronic disease.
Oh yeah.
You know, every chronic disease, some of them run into the trillions of dollars. They provide money to the healthcare industry and all those who are involved. So
And
if you have a healthy population, what's going to happen to the doctors and all the
yeah,
other people
all the drugs.
and all the drugs and all that?
Yeah, all the
So,
machinery.
exactly. So
Hmm.
it's, you know, it's a vicious cycle, I see.
Well, we want to teach people how to do that naturally,
Yeah.
how to do it without having to depend on anyone else. And I know time is up, Dr. Richard,
Oh, yeah.
but we're going to continue this discussion on our next program. You stay safe and be careful with your exposures, and I'll do the same. And for those of you who are watching and listening, you can give us a call. You can tune in, give us a thumbs up, share with your friends, and we'll tune in again next Thursday, same time, same place. And our local time is from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 p.m. In your time, Dr. Richard, is what,
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock to 6 o'clock
Hmm.
until the time changes. Right? So
Yeah.
if you have a last word you want to give,
No, just come in and get yourself screened. I mean, this is the time that a lot of people are doing it. We have people coming from all over the place to do
yeah,
just that.
it's happening indeed.
From other countries,
Indeed.
from other places too. So you're established in Guyana, so they need to, yeah, make the best of it and use it to your benefit. Don't wait until things
Okay.
break down.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Until we next time, have a wonderful evening. Good night. God bless you, you and your family. And we're here to help whenever we can. Thank you, Dr. Richard.
Thank you for the invite.
And good night.
Good night.